Going on, book besties? Your girl bookish.bryy here, and we are back for another booktube video. Today we are switching it up a little bit. Instead of my hot takes, my opinion, or my random rambling, we are going to be answering questions that you guys asked. That's right, I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram, and now I'm gonna go through and I'm going to answer all of them, or as many as I can. So with that being said, let's just dive right into it. We're gonna start strong with this one question that honestly, this question makes me so happy because I love when people notice this about me, because this is definitely one of my favorite features about myself, and it is, did you get your teeth pointed or are they naturally like that? I love them so much. Morgan, thank you. These are actually just naturally how my teeth are. I don't know how this happened, but it's something that I really love because I always wanted to be a vampire or a fairy or fae or whatever. And I feel like I low-key am because of the teeth. I have the canines. I have the sharp canines. So it makes me so happy. I don't know why. And I actually think about this because I know people get like veneers and stuff. And I'm always like, dang, I feel like I would look weird if I didn't have pointed teeth. I'm attached to these as part of my identity at this point. So I feel like if I did not have pointed teeth and my teeth were like straight all the way across, I feel like it would completely change my look and I would look really weird. I don't know, I wouldn't like it. Amelia asked, what are your Valkyrie workouts like? So this definitely depends on the person. So if we're talking about my Valkyrie workouts for myself, I work out 4-ish days a week. So I'll have 2 lower body days and 2 upper body days, and then 3 to 4 cardio days. But it depends on my Valkyries. Some of my Valkyries work out from home. Some of them work out at the gym. Some of them work out 3 days a week. Some of them work out 6 days a week. So it truly is depending on you, but there's always going to be a balance of weightlifting, cardio, mindset work, all of these things, nutrition, etc. On that topic, I did get asked what my gym routine is. So I will say my gym routine is quads and glutes, then shoulders and triceps, then hamstrings and glutes, and back and biceps. Sometimes I'll switch things up a little bit. It just truly depends. That's what my overall split is looking like. Bookish Files said, why are you so pretty and charismatic? I love you. I love you. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I don't know. I'm shy. I don't know what to say. You're just so nice. You're making me nervous. All-time fave SJM quote. There are so many, but there's 3 that come to mind immediately from each series, and I'm going to say them. The first one is one that Rhysand said to Feyre in Echo War, and I don't remember the exact one, but he was like, if I had to wait another 500 years and this was all the time that I got with you, it would be worth it. Ugh, that one gets my heart. I love that one. From Throne of Glass, it's when Dorian said you can't pick and choose which parts of her to love, which I know that's so basic, but that truly resonated with me because I feel like feeling loved was something that I always struggled with growing up. And I always felt like there were pieces of me that were really too weird for people, pieces of me that were awkward or too loud or all these different things. So to have a quote say that, I was like, wow, that truly resonated with me so much. And from Crescent City, which is just an iconic one, and I will never forget this because I just feel like Bryce is a fucking badass. And is there probably another quote that I like more? Absolutely. But this one is just one that literally lives in my mind rent-free. And it is when she was like, I'm your judge, jury, and your motherfucking executioner. I just thought it was so iconic. I don't think I will ever forget that quote in my entire life. Next question is, what is my current read? I actually just finished the last book I was reading, which was Your Knife, My Heart. So that's the one I just finished, and then I think tonight I'm going to start Psychotic Obsession by Lee Rivers. I love the Edge of Darkness trilogy. That's one of my god tier series. I'm craving something that makes me feel how Insatiable made me feel, and I remembered that Psychotic Obsession existed and that I haven't read it yet, which honestly, criminal. So I'm gonna start that one tonight and I'm so excited for it. Might draw myself a little bath, get a little relaxy-laxy, and enjoy me some Tobias Mitchell. Favorite video game. Okay, this one's fun for me. This one's fun for me because my favorite video game is Fortnite. And if y'all think that I'm talking about like, oh, I'm just like casually playing Fortnite, oh, let me just log on every once in a while. No, I play Fortnite on a daily basis. Actually, Fortnite has been taking away from my reading time. I definitely go through stages depending on the season and like how fun I find the current season of Fortnite. But this season of Fortnite has got to be, I think, one of the absolute best seasons they've had in so freaking long. And I'm addicted to it. If I hear the PS5 ding, I'm like dropping what I'm doing. I literally, just to tell you, I was supposed to record this video an hour and a half ago. And then my boyfriend was getting ready to go to the gym and he turned on the Fortnite because he plays video games before the gym. And I literally dropped what I was doing and I said, oh, I can play with you really quick. I am addicted to Fortnite. It's true. I love it. I wish that more book girlies played it, okay? I would literally stream playing it with other book girlies. I think it's so freaking fun. I keep trying to convince Natia and Aves to play it, and they don't want to play with me. Fake friends, if you ask me, but you know, what is a girl gonna do? So, you know, there's that, and you could tell them I said so. Trope that I never want to read. Val, love you by the way. Thank you. Trope that I never want to read. Definitely I say this, but I still have read some books with it and it's been fine, but like cheating trope. I don't want to read a cheating trope if it is genuinely the two main characters cheating on each other and doing each other dirty. Now, if you're thinking, Brianna, you love The Lies of Lena and The Sins of Silas, and that has a cheating trope. Yes, but it doesn't feel like a cheating trope to me because they were mates when they were younger. They're obviously mates, and they're not cheating on each other with somebody else. You know, they're more so finding their way back to each other. And because of the way that the story unfolds and everything that happens to them, I'm kind of overlooking it. It doesn't feel like cheating to me. But if I'm talking about like, if you recommend me a book and the two main characters are cheating on each other, I don't want it. Another one that comes to mind where people sometimes are like, oh, this is a cheating trope, which is Insatiable, the Edge of Darkness trilogy. But again, that's not a cheating trope. I don't think that's a cheating trope, personally. I think that's like misunderstanding, almost miscommunication trope. So, you know, do with that info what you will, but probably a cheating trope. What are one of my goals for this year? I definitely set a lot of goals. Actually, this is funny because I never used to set New Year's resolutions because I'm like, why set a New Year's resolution when you can make that change now? So I don't really like to call it a New Year's resolution, but I did sit down and set my intentions for the year where I wrote them all down. And I've been doing weekly check-ins with myself to see how far I'm coming towards hitting those goals. One of my goals is to be less people-pleasy. I definitely can be a really big people pleaser, which is very funny because I actually used to never be, and I would always help my friends become less people pleasery. And over the years, I don't know what it is, but I hate disappointing people, and I will go out of my way to the point of almost like taking away from myself so that way other people aren't feeling negative or left out or whatever it is. And I still want to always have kindness forward, but I also want to extend the same kindness to myself and stop overextending myself to please others. So that's one of my goals this year. When will we see our favorite trio together again? I don't know. Someone get Avery a plane ticket to Florida, okay? I don't know. I hope soon. We always need the trio back together, okay? I wish we all lived in the same city because it would be so much fun to be around each other all the time. But it makes us enjoy our time more when we're together because we're not used to being together all the time. So we really cherish it when we are together. I'm wearing the trio hoodie because I miss the trio. It makes me think of them. How did you decide to make Bookish Babes Collective? So I've always had a creative aspect myself, especially with clothes and products. I've always wanted to have my own clothing and product line. I've always wanted to do something like that. I just never knew what aspect I wanted to do it in, how to do it, what to do. And when I started getting into the bookish space again, I started realizing how much I was spending on different book clothing, different bookish things, and I loved them all, but they were always very specific to books, and I wanted to have one that was a little more general. And so that's how I ended up getting into the space of creating products for the book girlies. And honestly, I just love it. I genuinely just love doing it. I love coming up with new concepts, new design ideas, and then working with my designer and seeing it come to life. It genuinely is one of my favorite things to do. And so I'm excited to see what I come out with in 2026. I definitely have a lot of goals there. I have some ideas. I already have 2 launches that I want to start working on soon that I think the girlies will love. So stay tuned, stay tuned. Is it hard to balance content making and real life? I think it definitely can be. I think I've been struggling with that balance a lot more as of recently than I was, which has been taking away from how much I've been able to read, because I want to make sure I'm making my content, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting all of the work done I need to do. And I also want to make sure I'm spending quality time with my boyfriend and also seeing my friends. So it's very, very hard to strike the balance, especially because I'm very ADHD in general, and I can get very distracted easily, which can be something that works in my favor sometimes, being ADHD, but also it can be something that is bad. So I've been working on saying no a lot more. I'm sure a lot of my friends, hopefully they don't hate me, but I say no a lot now because I'm just trying to still find that balance where I still get that me time, but we're working on it. It's not easy, but we're getting there. We're trying our best, guys. Who is your fave MMC of all time? Okay, we have a couple of these. Who is your fave MMC of all time? Favorite book boyfriend, #1 book boyfriend, #1 book husband. So that's gonna be Resand. Resand, I think, will always be it. ACOTAR found me in a time when I was re-falling in love with reading, and I think Resand is like a very good example of what I think is a very good foundation of a book boyfriend. I think he is undeniably there for his partner, his mate. I think that he makes tough decisions, yes, and I know a lot of people don't love him that much, but I think that he's just a really good representation of a truly morally gray character. I think he would do literally anything for Feyre, and the shit he says, he just that man. So we love Resand. When did your love for books start? I actually started as a kid. I grew up always reading books. Reading was always one of my favorite things. I always read a lot throughout middle school, high school, everything. When I got in college, I started reading a lot less. And then I started getting into a little more mindset books to kind of help with my mindset, because when I was in college, I was also dealing with a lot of depression and loneliness and isolation. And at that time, I kind of needed something like that. And my mom knew that I was struggling, and she had bought me like a self-help book that really like spoke to me. So then I started getting more into self-help books at that time. And then I kind of I got tired of reading self-help books eventually, and I was like, I'm done with this. And then I wasn't reading really at all. And then my New Year's resolution for 2024 was to read more. And in 2024, I read the 3rd book of The Summer I Turned Pretty because I needed to know what happened. And then I was like, okay, love this, binge Shitty Nights. Then I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting more into reading again. This is fun. And then I read Purple Hearts because I absolutely loved the movie. I still love the movie. I will stand on this when I say it. The movie's better than the book. I did not really like the book. So that one took me a little bit to read, and I was like, meh, okay. And me and my best friend were literally talking about how we both wanted to get back into reading because we both used to read so much. And then I remember we were at the beach in March 2024. And I was like, yeah, I just started this book that is just so popular online, so I'm gonna read it, and it's called ACOTAR. And she was like, yeah, I keep seeing that. Let me know what you think. And I was like, okay. I started it. I binged it so hard. And I remember immediately texting her. I ended up binging all of the books, the first 3 books, I think, within a week. And I texted her and I was like, you need to fucking read this. You're gonna be obsessed. And then we both just went down this huge rabbit hole of being obsessed with reading again. And it was so much fun. And so that's when I started getting back into it as an adult, post-college, post my self-help era. I started reading again. And that's how I got back into fiction. And this next question is, I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm having a hard time working out. Any tips? So getting into a routine and a consistent routine is always the hardest part to start, but once you can create that foundation and that routine, it kind of starts to come easier. I would say find something that's gonna work for you, because fitness is not a one size fits all, and I think that's a very common misconception where it's like you have to be doing this, this, and that to reach your goals. You just have to figure out what days a week can I work out, how many days a week can I work out, something that is realistic and obtainable for you. Some people that's gonna be 5 to 6 days a week, some people that's gonna be 3 to 4 days a week, and that's absolutely okay. Find something that works for you. Set aside time that it is a non-negotiable for you to start going and do that. As well as when it comes to weight loss, I would say make sure that you're eating consistently every single day. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing every single day, but if you're eating all over the place, eating so many calories one day and then so little calories the next, it can have your metabolism going up and down. It can mess with your hormones, as well as eating enough protein, which everybody says, but protein is what is going to support lean muscle mass as well as weight loss. So if you're not getting enough protein in, it's going to be really hard to see those results. Those are just some quick tips, but you can also message me if you are looking for some coaching, not trying to throw an ad in here, but I will put my coaching application in my description. We can talk and see what would work for you if you are interested in becoming one of my Valkyries. How do you balance a healthy lifestyle with social events? This is actually a fun one because I am definitely someone who preaches balance and moderation. So I think any extreme of anything is never going to be something that is sustainable. To have a sustainable lifestyle, you have to have balance. So if you are doing good, eating good, hitting your workouts consistently 80% of the time or 90% of the time, that 10% of you going to a social event, having a drink, going out to dinner, that's not going to reverse all of your progress. And I actually think it is something that will help you genuinely stay on track much longer, because if you are restricting yourself too much in a lifestyle, I think that's what causes these relapses, and it's what causes this, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's binging, maybe it's falling off, but when you do too much too fast, or you do too much with no balance, it's going to be really hard to sustain that. What FMC do you see yourself most in? I definitely see myself most in Bryce Quinlan, in a lot of her struggles, a lot of the things that she's dealt with, her escaping, her mindset, things that have happened to her. I can relate to it a lot on a lot of different levels. In her growth from there. So that's something, when I was reading the book, I truly did resonate with. More than any FMC that I have ever read, I think that she's genuinely so strong, and I think that she's overlooked a lot, and I think her strength is overlooked a lot, and I think a lot of people reduce her down to being an older Aylin, and truly I think the characters are so much their own. I would not even compare them, in my opinion. Even her dynamic with Hunt, all of these different things, I relate to her so much. Her personality, her humor, everything. I truly do. So I would say definitely Bryce Quinlan. What was the first book that got you into your book obsession? Okay, if we're gonna talk about adulthood, first book that got me back into my book obsession where I couldn't stop reading, it's gonna be ACOTAR, the ACOTAR series for sure, as an adult. If not, what am I gonna say? Like Dr. Seuss? I don't know. So we're gonna say ACOTAR for sure. Who are your top 5 book girlfriends? Oh, okay. Bryce Quinlan, duh, for sure. Diana Martinez, also duh, for sure. The Vega twins, Tori and Darcy. I like to group them as one, but if you're gonna force me to make it 2, then that would be 3 and 4. And then I think I would have to say, ooh, this is hard. No, this is so hard. This is so hard. Why are you making me choose? Okay, but I have 3 that I can't choose for number 5. So we're gonna say the 3 for number 5 that I can't. Oh, y'all, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. I'm about to rattle off like 5. Everest Arcadia from Neverkeep. Lena, I forget what her last name, from Lies of Lena. Midra Pendragon from On Wings of Blood. Sloane, what is Sloane's last name? Sutherland? Is that her last name? From Butcher and Blackbird. We're gonna stop there. but so many more, and I could sit here for hours and rattle off my book girlfriends because I'm just so in love with them all. What inspired you to become a bookfluencer? Honestly, I work from home and I was reading so much. And my best friend was also reading, but I work from home, so I had a lot more time on my hands to read a lot more often. And I was just running out of people to talk about these books with, and I needed to talk about someone. And I also would like scroll through TikTok and oh, this TikTok sound makes me think of this, or I want to talk about this. And then finally I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to post. I'm just going to start posting about books because like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm going to connect with other readers, and that's ultimately my goal. I want to make book besties. I want to become friends with other book girlies so that way we can like rave about our favorite books together. And so that's what ultimately made me start it. And then here we are. If you could live in any book world, where would you live? Valaris always feels like home to me. Definitely Valaris more than anything. But also, realistically, I genuinely think I could easily survive in Crescent City. That's one I definitely think I could do. It's very modern, but it's got all the mythical creatures, which I freaking love. I love that it's not just fairies. Like, give me fairies, mermaids, vampires, shifters. I want it all. So that's one that I'm just absolutely obsessed with. How to maintain female friendships in adulthood. This is actually something that I'm going to be talking about on my TikTok here soon. But something that I think is very important. I always try to be the friend that I would want to have. A friend that I might need sometimes. I think that that's one of the main ways to keep friends and maintain friends in adulthood is to just be the friend that you would need or be the friend that you would genuinely want. No one wants a friend who is just constantly mean. No one wants a friend who is only thinking about themselves. Nobody wants a friend who isn't there for them. I feel like the energy that you put out into the world is always going to be the energy you attract. So if you're a negative friend, if you're a hateful friend, if you're honestly just not a good friend, that's the type of people that you are going to get in return. However, if you are the version of yourself that you would want in someone else, and that's the version that you present and you put forward, that is what you are going to attract in return. I'm very big on the law of attraction. How to navigate the dating scene as an adult. You've been out of the game for a while. Look, I'm out of the game for a very long time. Me and my boyfriend have been together over 6 years. If I had to give advice, I would just say never settle. I actually talk about this a lot. Before my boyfriend, I was perpetually single. I would have flings for sure, but I never settled. And the thing is, if you clock a red flag early on, and it's something that intuitively is not sitting with you right, I think you need to trust your intuition. I think that a lot of people settle in relationships because they're scared of being alone or they don't like being alone. And I think that's how a lot of people end up in maybe negative or toxic relationships. It's not always the case, but I think it is a big thing that I've seen a lot. And if you're scared to be alone, then you will sooner settle for the bare minimum just so you don't have to, where if you work on yourself and you truly love yourself and you know what you deserve and you just go through life being the version of yourself that you will want to be, I think somebody will come along and just align with that and it will just make sense. The thing is like the bare minimum is your partner should always respect you. If you are messing with somebody who's not respecting you, that is a red flag. If you're messing with someone who's not respecting your time, that's a red flag. If you're messing with somebody who treats other people badly, that's a red flag. You know, knowing what your boundaries are, knowing what your red flags are, your non-negotiables are, and not being rude about it, but just having those standards that you hold yourself to, you should hold your partner to as well. But also just working on loving yourself and your self-worth and moving forward to there. Because I think when you truly do love yourself and you're not out searching for a relationship and you're okay with where you are in life and maybe being single, that's how you truly attract somebody that was actually meant for you. And this is going to be the last question that I answer because I have a lot of questions that are very similar to my other questions. So it may not have exactly answered it, but it's going to have basically the same answer, and I don't want to get boring by doing repeat answers. So the last one is what are some of my other hobbies? Some of my other hobbies would definitely be working out, playing video games, Me and my boyfriend love to go riding longboards or riding scooters. That's something I love doing, just being outside, hanging out by the pool, hanging out with friends, trying new restaurants. I'm such a foodie. Traveling. That shit gets expensive. And really just like new experiences. I don't know if that can be considered a hobby, but new experiences is definitely a hobby of mine. I wanna see new things. I wanna try new things. Even though I do get stuck in my way, I do like a fresh experience. So that was basically all of the questions you guys asked me on Instagram. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for asking and participating in this YouTube video. As always, I love you guys so much. If you want, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok down below. You can check out Bookish Babes Collective down below. Again, I will put my coaching application down below for anybody who is looking for some Valkyrie training. I love you guys so much. If you love this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to support your girl, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!